It seems like some of you missed an entire word in today's broadcast title. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 222. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do imposter syndrome. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you will see stuff like this, the JKD Notables coffee mug, also available as t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, sweatshirt, hoodie, all that good stuff. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. All right, let me just take a quick look and see who's joined me today. So, Jerry Winterfell. Hello, Jerry. Hello, Terry. Terry, did somebody? Oh man, I think Bucky Badass beat you, Terry. That's my student Anthony Barreto. He's a really good guy. All right, Mark Black is here. Hey, Pedro, Lance Lamont. All right, John Nasir. Okay, cool. Excellent crew. Excellent crew. All right, so let me just get this out of the way right now. It seems like some people were expecting that they were expecting me to come on here and talk about people who promote themselves as Jeet Kune Do instructors and who were not legitimately qualified to do so. So if that was your expectation, which I don't think it was any of the people that I see who have signed on, but if that was your expectation, then I say to you, your vision of and or for Jeet Kune Do is not the same as mine. That's not to say that there couldn't be a time and a place for the exposure of a fraud, a Jeet Kune Do fraud, but I don't envision the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast as the time, as necessarily the time, nor do I envision the I Love Jeet Kune Do Facebook page necessarily as the place for all this fraud exposure. I'll just tell you this. I was going to put this in my conclusion, but I'll just tell you right now. If we all do more to elevate the level of everyone's Jeet Kune Do education, it will scare away the frauds, and it will also bring everybody who is interested. It'll bring all the Jeet Kune Do enthusiasts from around the world. It will bring them to a level of perception, right? So that the frauds will have nowhere to go. People will look at them and they'll go, "You obviously are not really a Jeet Kune Do guy because look at the crap that you're putting out." All right, so let's get to today's topic. So one definition of imposter syndrome is doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. And I was very surprised to find. Actually, I should not have been surprised, but I was. It disproportionately affects high-achieving people. High-achieving people who, however, find it difficult to accept their achievements. And many of them question whether or not they are actually deserving of any kind of accolade. So I could be wrong about this, but if anybody knows this story, I seem to recall hearing George Foreman say that at one point in his boxing career, he would go so fast and hard early on because he felt deep inside that he didn't really belong in the world of professional boxing. So he would go hard and fast and try to knock people out and get it all over with because he felt that he was in the wrong spot. Now, I could be wrong about George Foreman. But I seem to recall that it was him who said it, but I couldn't find the recording of it, so I apologize. He'll never hear this, but I apologize if I'm actually speaking about somebody else and ascribing it to George Foreman. So I'll tell you what I found out about imposter syndrome and a little bit of my experiences with it. So there's a doctor, Valerie Young, and there is actually a thing called the Imposter Syndrome Institute, right? I suspect it's not an actual building, it's just a website. But over there, Dr. Brown breaks the syndrome down into 5 versions. So there's the perfectionist, whose primary focus is on how something is done. And this includes how the work is conducted and how it turns out. So this is the type of person who can't be happy with scoring 99%, right? So what I've learned about so here's the thing, right? So perfectionism is I might even call it a sin, right? Perfectionism is a terrible thing, especially if it is accompanied by one of its major downsides, which is procrastination, because you never get stuff put out because you want and you'll see how this ties into something else later. You don't get stuff put out because you want, when you put stuff out, that it is perfect. So it leads you to procrastinating all the time instead of just getting stuff done. So that's the downside of perfectionism. However, here's another discovery of mine. If you can turn that perfectionism around into your training, the reason why I emphasize for myself and my students that you aim to be perfect in how you perform is because, and Russell might remember this, Dwight Woods, this Dwightism, on the road to perfection, proficiency is attained. So that's why you aim to be unblemished in the way that you do things. On the road to perfection, proficiency is attained, because we know that perfection is not possible, but we use it to rework the way our minds go and to drive our bodies. Okay, moving on. Number 2 version, the expert. The expert is the knowledge version of the perfectionist, right? So the expert now is concerned on what and how much knowledge there is. And so the expert might impose upon him or herself that they should know everything. So even a minor lack of knowledge is a disgrace to them. So the way I've seen this is the instructor who thinks that you got to train in everything, because if you don't know everything, then your students will run off and join another school, right? Another version is instructors who they're certified in the same art by many different people, right? And an important quality, important thing to notice about the expert imposter is that the expert is not necessarily working on perfection. You see, because the expert is just interested in the knowledge version of the perfectionist. They want to appear to have all the knowledge because that's where their security comes from. If I know everything, then nobody will want to go anywhere other than to me, right? The soloist cares, as it says on the website, mostly about who completes the task, right? So I'll just cut to the chase. The soloist is the one who ends up imposing upon himself, speaking from personal experience, that you can't depend on anybody else to do it. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And so you end up working yourself doggedly, right? Because you have to do everything. Case in point, when I moved to Miami, I grew up all my life in the islands. I don't know, I never bought a car. I never needed a car in the islands. When I moved to Miami, I needed to get a car. I don't know anything about buying a car, not in the islands, far less buying a car in the big country. So instead of asking somebody like my good friend for almost 40 years, Chip Kelly, who was born and raised in Miami, instead of asking Chip for help on how to buy a car, I go do it by myself. I end up paying for a brand new Honda Civic DX, not even an EX, right? A brand new Honda Civic DX with no external right side mirror and no cassette player. But I needed to have a brand new car. I could have gotten, for just a few dollars more, I could have gotten a pre-owned, we called them used in the old days, a pre-owned, fully loaded Honda Prelude, but it wasn't brand new. So idiot me, because I am the soloist, I got to do it all by myself. I can't ask for help. Ended up with a Civic DX. I could have gotten a Prelude. Anyhow, moving on, the natural genius. The natural genius also cares about the how, and in addition cares about the when. And the when, unfortunately, requires that everything come fast and easily. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. If not in yourselves, you've seen it definitely in some of your students. When it's the instructor perceives that if you have to struggle to master a subject or a skill, and again, like I said earlier, if your first effort is not a masterpiece, then that's a failure. So, downside of that is when you hear people, because they would have to struggle to gain the knowledge in martial art, to gain an extra ability, you will hear them start to criticize other people. Oh, that's not Jeet Kune Do because he's adding this and he's adding that, right? And even worse, they'll make up stories to kind of indicate why something is not important, right? So a lot of the people who avoided, let's say, the grappling in the early days, right, because it meant having to go outside of their comfort zone, right, and struggle to achieve skill and ability in something else. And then the final one is the super person. I'm being politically correct, right? So the super person measures competence on how many things they can juggle simultaneously. So if you fall short in any role, as a parent, as instructor, as a friend, whatever, then all of that evokes shame because they feel like they should be able to handle it all, and handle it all, again, perfectly and easily, right? So I remember one time back in Barbados, I had a nervous breakdown in front of a girlfriend. Alcohol was involved, and I can remember to this day, as my brain is not itself, I can remember struggling to control my brain and control what came out of my mouth as I was in the midst of this meltdown in front of this gorgeous girl. Anyhow, right? So here's the deal. No matter which version or which combination of versions of imposter syndrome you might suffer with, a way out is through a change in and a change of perspective. A change in perspective and a change of perspective. Adopt a frame of reference that says, I am and I can. So one of my business mentors, Jim Edwards, he makes the suggestion to take the time to make an inventory of an inventory list of a lot of the things that you've done, right? I'll tell you one thing that a lot of Jeet Kune Do people, I think, do not give themselves credit for. Most of us went in pursuit. A lot of us, more people just went to whatever martial arts school was down the street from their house. JKD people went in pursuit. So if you had to get on a plane from Barbados to LA, from New York to LA, from England to LA, from Scotland to LA, I mean, because we know literally people came from all over the world to Los Angeles to train with different members of the JKD clan. And sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for having the hunger to pursue that knowledge. We also do not give ourselves that, because a lot of knowledge in JKD, as the founder himself said, a lot of knowledge in JKD comes from your own personal investment. Yes, you get stuff from your instructor, but we got to crank out. We got to put the time in, because Jeet Kune Do knowledge is a thing that comes from inside. So sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for how industrious we may have been in our pursuit of the knowledge. So as Jim Edwards says, the education that you have gained through self-study. He also talks about pricing, and this is something that I have seen and that I went through for a period of time as well. Again, because people don't give themselves credit for what they have done, they price themselves unrealistically. Like I can remember when people used to talk about you find out who charges the most, who charges the least, and then you put yourself in the middle. Well, it sounds logical, but actually you charge what you need to charge. And you charge, so Jim Edwards says, take yourself out of the equation. Charge for the result that people will get from what you teach them, right? If you struggle to price it based on who you are and your feelings about yourself, just price the result that you will deliver. Okay. Going back to the inventory list of things that you've done, there was a suggestion that on a daily basis, now this is a stretch, I admit, on a daily basis, write down a list of 10, this many, look, this many, or this many if you use one hand, right? 10 wins from during the day. Now that's tough, but I'll give you an example. If you were able to wake up on time, get to the park and work out, get home, shower, breakfast, get on the train in time to get 20 miles away to your private client. That's a win, because you're able to coordinate all that stuff. So it could be, the idea behind this is if you can stretch yourself to list on a daily basis 10 things that you were successful at, that will work really well on your mindset, right? And lastly, this was the gem that I got from Jim and Stu. For those who suffer from fear of criticism, right? Ask yourself this, okay? Now, this is the major takeaway, I think, for the 17 minutes I've been yammering away at you guys. Why would you accept criticism from someone from whom you wouldn't even take advice? All right. Okay. That's enough of me for today. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all I got to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. You can pick up the raw but edited. Oh, I just realized something. I forgot to show you guys this. So that's a graphic that I should have put up earlier, but I got carried away. Right. Anyhow, if you want a copy of this, just put it in the comments or email me at jkdrebel and I'll get it to you. Right. At paypal.me/UnifiedMA Miami. So I told you a little bit just now, a couple of stories about my whole journey, as part of my journey as an instructor. If you want to delve more deeply into this, at paypal.me/UnifiedMA Miami, you can pick up the raw but edited version of the Jeet Kune Do Journey Volume 1. All right, and I think that is it for today. Coming up on Friday, April 8th, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode with Zane Isaacs of Championship MMA, and that should be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, regular time. Today is, you can already see it, an indigo shirt, all right? And that's it. All right, so I'll see some of you guys maybe on Friday. If not, I'll see you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Talk soon.